It's 5:30. I'll call the meeting to order. And if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. As commissioners had an opportunity to review the agenda, and do you have any modifications or additions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, if not, then I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, old business, appointments. We have some reappointments, the Planning and Zoning Commission. We have a reappointment of Mary Jo Meyer to a first term, which expires January 1st, 2022. Historic Preservation Resource Commission, reappointment Tim Ragland to a second term, which expires January 1, 2022. Reappointment to Tim Haynes to a second term, which expires January 1st, 2022. The Park Board, reappoint Alex Moore to a first term expiring July 1, 2021. Reappoint Maddie Long to a first term expiring July 1, 2021. And reappoint Todd Young to a second term expiring July 1, 2020. So I make a motion that we reappoint the members as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next on appointments, we do have some vacancies. On the Planning and Zoning Commission, we have 2 open positions. One position is for a member outside the city but living within the 3-mile limit, and one position for inside the city. The Tree Board, these members can be outside the city, but we have a requirement of the majority living within the city limits. So there's 4 open positions, 2 terms expired, and 2 new terms are vacant. So these, we are taking applications until the 21st of January. If anyone is interested in serving on these boards, please call Kelly for an application. I think an application is available online. If you know of anybody interested, please refer them to this. What I did ask Kelly to provide the commission with an updated commission board member list so we can get an idea who is serving, and for us to make a special effort to reach out to those that are not serving on a board so we can broaden the involvement within our community and broaden the input too. So commissioners will be receiving this list, so anyone you know, and take a look to see who's serving on the commissions now, and try and reach out to new individuals. So, but this will go until the 21st of January. So any comments concerning the openings or the board?
None.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is new business, reorganization of the commission. The first item is election of a mayor. So at this time, I'll entertain a nomination for mayor. Or I could take the lead, or I would like to nominate Commissioner Ususi for the position.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And no, you can't oppose yourself, Louis.
I was going to ask.
All those opposed? Motion carried. And at this time, then I'll turn the commission meeting over to our new mayor.
All right. Thank you, Leonard.
You want to switch positions?
Yeah, I guess. Let's just trade the seats right here. See how this goes. It'll be great. We'll see. All right. Thank you, Leonard and Gary and the city staff. I may be a little shaky at first, but we'll get through it. Trust me. Okay, the next item on this is the election of a vice mayor. And I move to nominate, being this is your last year on the circuit here.
On the circuit.
On the circuit here, yeah. I move to nominate Leonard Kuflish
I'll second.
as vice mayor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Welcome aboard. Again, you can't get out either. Okay, next on the list is the designation of official city newspaper, and as I understand, we've designated the Independence Daily Reporter as the official city paper, and I guess they've been the official city paper for as long as I can remember. So, do anyone have any questions about that, Gary, you or Leonard?
No, I don't.
Did Gary?
No, Gary did.
Okay. No, I just noticed, we do have two papers in town. If we've entertained contacting both for input or just general recommendation of staff, is that what has been placed on the agenda?
Yeah, I mean, that's, like Lewis said, that's been the paper of record since I think there was a paper and there was a city, as far as we can tell. And we recommended to continue that. It's the Independence Daily Reporter. It's what you would identify with. First, if you were, say, doing a search on the city and you're looking for a newspaper, that would pop up, obviously. And another, of course, there's issues with a weekly versus, it's not completely a daily, but it's like 5 days a week. So that helps in timing of publication things, especially Kelly can speak to planning and zoning issues there. So that's the major reasons we're recommending continuing with the Independence Daily Reporter.
Okay.
So with that, I don't have any further questions on that either. So I move to designate do I have a motion to designate the Independence Daily Reporter as the official city newspaper?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. The next is to designate the Community National Bank as the official city depository. I wanted to make sure I got that word right. There was an issue with that last year. So, gentlemen, do you have any concerns about the Community National Bank as being our official city depository?
No, I don't.
Gary?
No.
Okay. Do I have a motion to designate the Community National Bank as the official city depository?
And so moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item number 5. Consider changing day of week and time for commission meetings. Well, looking at this here, we normally meet on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5:30. This year for 2019, there will be a couple of exceptions. One is rescheduling the Thursday, October 24th, 2019 meeting to Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. I believe that is the week of Niwala. And then B, reschedule the Thursday, November 28th, 2019 meeting to Thursday, November 21st, 2019. And I know this past year we've had to move a couple of meetings around. I personally like the idea that we stay with the second and fourth Thursday of the month and the time, because everyone's used to those particular days. They fit it into their schedule. the timing is a good time. But how do you feel about it?
Looks good to me.
Yeah, I like the Thursday. It gives us a little more time if something comes up to prepare for the meeting. The one on in November, instead of going to the Thursday before, what about like November 26th? It'd be on a Tuesday before Thanksgiving. The 21st would be 2 weeks in a row, commission meetings. I think the first one is the 14th, and then the 21st would be the next Thursday. But if we rush that one on a Tuesday, would that be a problem?
And we only recommended that because we had recommended that for last year, and then we were asked not to have a meeting during that week.
Yeah.
And so we didn't
Yeah,
know
I
if you
know.
wanted to stay away from that week.
This year, it seemed like there was something else, but we had a fifth week, didn't we, in November?
Yeah, well, I think someone was out of town or something the full
I
week
had
or
a
something.
trip
Yeah.
planned that week of Thanksgiving this year.
But we
usually
could
take the
do
week
the
off.
week after. That full week, would you prefer
We
to
usually
keep
take
it?
that week off for a vacation, but it's
Then leave it.
not set in stone at all.
No, then the 21st.
All right, that'd be great.
21st is fine.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. So do I have a motion to continue the current schedule of commission meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 5:30 p.m. with the following exceptions? Reschedule the Thursday, October 24th, 2019 meeting to Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019, and reschedule the Thursday, November 28th, 2019 meeting to Thursday, November the 21st, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 4, common consent agenda. Gentlemen, have you had a chance to review the consent agenda, and do you have any additions or modifications?
No, we're
Gary?
good.
Leonard? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 5. Oh, excuse me, I missed one.
No, you're doing
I'm
good.
sorry, that's right. Item 5. Check my glasses here. Okay, considering proclaiming January 20th, 2019 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration Day. Okay. Kathy, how are you? Ladies? Michelle? I should know your last name.
Jerry.
Jerry.
Jerry
Sorry.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" Against what seemed impossible odds, Dr. King and scores of his fellow citizens of all races came together and ultimately helped bend the arc of the universe towards justice. To honor Dr. King, the Independence Chamber of Commerce Diversity Task Force, in partnership with RSVP 4 County, will be hosting the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration here in Independence on January 20th, 2019, at Independence High School Performing Arts Center. We have a free soup lunch beginning at 2 p.m. and in the community room, and then the celebration actually begins at 3. We would invite the commissioners and the mayor to come and participate in the activities of the day, along with the citizens of Independence, in celebration of Dr. King's life and legacy. We also have a proclamation to honor Dr. King that we ask the commissioners to sign tonight, and for the mayor to read that day during the ceremony. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Ladies, want to make a comment? No? You're just there for support.
Clearly
All
they
right.
do.
These are members of the Diversity Task
All
Force
right.
that are with us.
All righty. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. So now, I will go ahead and read this proclamation.
Yeah.
Okay. Proclamation 2019 honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Whereas the 15th day of January is the birthday anniversary of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and whereas Dr. King stood before the entire world as a man of peace, champion of human dignity, and an example of love and brotherhood. And whereas the citizens of Independence do recognize Dr. King's contribution to the good of all humankind, and that they do desire to perpetuate and implement the ideals expressed in his dream of peace and harmony among all God's children. Now, therefore, I, Mayor of the City of Independence, do hereby proclaim the day of January 20th, 2019, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration Day, and urge that every citizen of Independence join me in extending recognition and honor to the memory of this great leader of humankind by attending the local celebration, King's Vision, Humanity Tied in a Single Garment of Destiny, on Sunday, January 20th, 2019 at 3 p.m. at the Independence High School Performing Arts Center. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of Independence, Kansas, to be affixed this day, January 10th, 2019. So, do I have a motion to proclaim January 20th, 2019 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration Day, and for the mayor to sign the proclamation?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, consider setting a special meeting to discuss future direction for City Hall and public safety facilities. And at this time, I have a request to address the City Commission by Mr. Dean Hayes.
Good evening. My name's Dean Hayes, 2625 Rolling Green Drive, and I'd like to speak in favor of having a special meeting to address City Hall. I spoke to this commission about a year ago on the subject of construction plans for the new City Hall facility, which at the time was estimated to be $16.5 million. The summary of what I said at that time was we need a less expensive option, a less expensive solution. We've recently gone out for bids on the $1.3 million Phase 1 project on the 1916 City Hall building, a project which only begins the work necessary to return the city offices to that building. The other phases will complete the rehabilitation of the structure. The question is, what are those phases and what are the costs of those phases? And what is the total cost of the renovation and what is the projected savings in operating costs of the new building versus the temporary City Hall? The sale of the temporary City Hall building might help defray some of the construction costs of the 1916 City Hall building. So what is the expected market value of the temporary City Hall? How long is it likely to be on the market? And will the situation with the ARCO building impact the selling price of the temporary City Hall building? Ultimately, every dollar spent on the City Hall building project will take tax dollars away from uses elsewhere. So the next dollar invested in the City Hall buildings needs to align with the vision for a vision for the growth of Independence, needs to support the citizens' strategic plans, which means it needs to address streets and infrastructure, parks, and other city assets. Does the Phase 2 plan do that? Is it aligned with the strategic plan? Does it consume all of the available capital and leave us waiting for years for a solution to decaying infrastructure and crumbling streets? And what about funding? Is the funding from sales taxes? Is the funding from property taxes? And does the funding require a vote to be brought to the community? In the interest of transparency and accurate information and community engagement, we need to plan a meeting to share the details of the building plan phases, the construction costs, the operating costs, and the schedule for completion, so that the constituents you represent can be informed of what the future holds and where their tax dollars will be going. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dean.
Dean, would it be possible for us to get copies of your notes so that as we go through this, so we can make sure we're addressing the issues? Well, thank
I'll leave
you.
my notes with you.
Okay. Can you Kelly, can you copy and get those to us? Okay, thank you. That way we'll be sure to address the concerns that you've brought up. And
Now, we need to put our heads together and figure out when we want to go ahead and set up a time and a date for a meeting,
that-
what your schedule looks like. And to me, I would think probably the sooner the better that we start moving in that direction.
Maybe a Thursday evening, since that works for our schedules generally.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be fine. How about you?
yeah, so we're looking at the 17th or the 31st in January. You wanted, if we had to go into
The
February.
16th or the 30th, isn't it? Am I on the right year?
January.
Nope, sorry. I'm not on the right year.
Oh,
Okay.
that'd be right. Today's the 10th, so that would be the 17th and or the 31st.
In
And Thursday works. I don't have a problem with Thursday. And we're meeting the 15th, January the 15th, Tuesday. If you gentlemen would like to meet on the 17th.
I would sort of like to maybe give it a little more
More time.
time,
Okay.
just so people are aware of it, that would like to attend and be involved in the discussion.
Okay.
So you thinking the 31st? Is that
That would be great with me if it works for everyone else.
11,
yeah? The 31st would be fine with me. At 5:30
5:30
here.
here in this room.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's set this up for January the 31st, which will be a Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Here in the Veterans Meeting Room.
Is that a motion?
Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
And I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All right, next, item number 6, city manager comments.
My only comments is congratulations, Commissioner
Yeah.
Ususi, or I should say Mayor Ususi. I look forward to working with you this next year as mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioners' comments, either one?
Well, I have one. Last commission meeting, Gary, you mentioned we were talking about some times that, like having a morning meeting or work session. I think it was in regards to that a work session in the morning would be something you'd be interested in. The more I thought about it, I thought, that would give us the opportunity to have all three of us meet together with the city manager just to brainstorm and, be more productive. That, right now we really have to watch correspondence through the internet responding, that it's easy to pick up a serial meeting with comments going back and forth. Or, even with one comment that we see, we don't have the opportunity to share our ideas or share concerns we hear, or have that joint meeting. And I was saying I'd like to maybe consider a 9 or 10 o'clock meeting of just a work session that we could all four sit down and just share.
I'd love it. I think it would be wonderful. These meetings are so rigid. You can't really have good discussions.
Well, there's a lot of things that can come up, even like within our comment section, to share, to get direction and then respond, or even like Dean presenting tonight. According to our ordinance, we don't respond.
Right.
So there's things that can come up that would give Craig time to get responses back to us if it needs to come to a meeting, or through communication, or to the next meeting. It would be a lot easier, I think, and maybe look at a monthly session, whether it be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, just general or just get together in 10 minutes. But I think it would be easier for us all to address some of the citizens' concerns, our concerns, or just get updated, less rigid, like you said, than a commission meeting. And in the morning, 8, 8:30, 9, it doesn't matter, but just something to start off. And
I think the
So-
upside of that is tremendous. I really do. And the downside, if it's not, beneficial, we don't keep doing it. But I think it's very difficult with a 3-person commission to have good conversations unless you really make it a huge effort to do so.
So that's my comment. I'd like to see that we can set up a session monthly that is informal, but, take us time to share.
You want to put that on the agenda next time as a discussion item to pick a date, or are you wanting to pick a date now to try it?
I mean, you're talking, if I may make a comment just
Yeah,
quickly.
please.
I think this is a great idea, work sessions in other communities where I've worked. We have a regularly scheduled work session, usually on the off week from a commission meeting, during the day, early afternoon or morning. So I think it's a great idea. I think it'd work well for those discussions. So I would suggest setting it, say, like the third Tuesday. No, I don't want to pick Tuesday or Thursday mornings if you're doing mornings. That's when we have leadership stuff for staff. But other than that, I think that'd be great.
When you've done these in other cities, is there usually an agenda or
Yeah,
just whatever?
Yeah, I
anybody
mean,
wants to talk
it's
about?
different in different cities, but we would have, typically it would be staff say, all right, a work session's coming up. Is there anything we need to bring before the commission that obviously there's not going to be any action taken, but it's going to be for discussion purposes, and that gives staff direction, if you will. But then we bring it, what direction we've got from the commission, we bring that back for action either at the next meeting or a subsequent meeting. So that's what we found very beneficial on a regular basis. We could bring agenda items, topics for discussion, City Hall or something like that, or whatever, fixing up that new fire truck we got up there on the screen. By the way, that truck on the far right is in the auction. This Saturday, so just saying. Anyway, I think it's a great idea and regularly scheduled time. And you're talking just once a month, right? Not
Right, and it was an off week
Right.
of commission meeting. I don't know if Monday or Wednesday.
I mean,
If
I would
Tuesday
recommend
and
Wednesday, but-
Thursdays
yeah, I'd recommend
are-
Wednesday. Mondays
yeah.
would be a little, especially
Monday
Monday
mornings.
morning,
Right.
Monday afternoon, just for if we had to prepare stuff.
Sure, and you run into holidays on Mondays
Mondays.
sometimes, the possibility of that, and Wednesday might be the best fit. But yeah, I'm in agreement with both of you. You've said some of the things that I actually wanted to say. I think being with just a 3-person commission, we really don't have have the time or have made the time to sit down and actually have a good feel of where we just our general concepts on what we feel about a lot of these different things, and our inability to actually communicate each other, I think sometimes works against us sitting here on the commission, and I think that's where commissions in the past have had problems and suffered by the lack of that. It gives us a chance just to be open and express some ideas and what we think about a lot of issues that are facing the city. And I think it gives us a better understanding of where each of us are at, what we're thinking, and it gives the city manager and it'll give the city staff a good direction of what it is we're thinking when we get together. And I think the more we get together and talk, especially as a group, I think will be more beneficial to us than where if we were just fragmented and you get a time and you get a time and I get a time, but we never all get a time and sit down and talk about some things that are common, that have commonality to each one of us. So I think that's a good idea, and Wednesday would be a good time, a good day.
And if we did the third Wednesday, it's right in between the commission meetings. Yeah, because I know we talked about some forums and special meetings last year, and it's really hard. You know, we bring up the idea, but our agendas fluctuate, and by the time we deal with business, we don't really have time to specialize or devote to making these come to pass. And I think that's the thing that I could see coming from the work session on a regular basis. It gives us the time to discuss more in detail an idea than we're in between commission meetings, that if it has to come to a meeting, we can act upon it quicker and keep coming back instead of getting thrown off track and schedule. So, you know, if Wednesdays work, and we're, you know, I think 9 o'clock, I don't like to burn too much daylight. You know, the later you get, because usually you start getting hungry. So, you know, 9, it's soon enough after donuts.
Donuts, oh my gosh.
And then, you know, if that's acceptable, then
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. 9 o'clock on the third Wednesday of the month, and the meeting would be held here, here in this veterans meeting room. Yeah, that would work fine for me. Works fine for you. So my next question would be, when did we want to set up our first meeting date?
the 16th, the third Wednesday. Do we want to start in January? Would be the question. Then, or the 13th of February.
I'm in Kansas City next Wednesday.
Okay.
I can't really do it. I can make it work after that, but I can't do it the 16th.
Then you want to start the 13th?
The
20th.
20th?
20th.
The third Wednesday in February.
It's the 20th.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The 20th?
Yeah.
Okay. February 20th, which would be Wednesday, 9 o'clock, here in the Veterans Room.
I think that's great. I'm excited about that.
Do you want those videotaped like we do at the meetings?
There's a question.
I would, just going on experience in the past, we never did that at work sessions. We did, of course, our commission meetings, but doesn't say we had, I'm just saying we didn't ever do that in us communities.
Would that be based the
but-
fact that there's no action taken at this? It's just a
Right.
roundtable discussion.
And it usually
of a lot
was-
of issues.
Of course, we didn't hold it in the commission room. We'd hold it in a kind of conference room instead of the commission. But you know,
Still
if you
open
want
to the public.
yeah, oh yeah,
So
certainly.
did
It's
you
open to the public.
usually
Yeah.
have the public attend, or was it pretty
Depends
small
on
groups?
what was on the agenda, because we'd publish the agenda
Right.
if there was one. If we had an agenda, we'd publish that ahead of time. And it depends on, and again, these were, and of course, we did it twice a month as well. And we usually, it was that format. But I think, you know, if we're holding it here, I mean, the cost, I don't think is that significant in terms of,
Well, what we could do is start without having it recorded and see what the public response is. Meeting here, it's a central point that everyone can identify, so we don't get confused. If the public wants to come, then they can attend, then if the public, I know there's a lot of people that tell me they watch the meetings. If they want to watch it and see what's going on, I think then we can consider it, but maybe start out initially not recording. Yeah, this is my idea. It's up to you guys.
I'm good with that. I think
And-
also if you want input from the public, they're more likely to speak if they're not being recorded.
Yeah.
So-
And, you know, if it's a work session, depends which direction it goes, because to have an agenda, if it's coming from staff, then we're addressing their issues instead of us addressing our issues. I think to start it without the agenda and let it go the other way and see what works. We can always change the format. To make it work, that's what we're going to have to do, is start in,
Yeah,
see where it goes,
refine it.
and refine it. You know, this is a first for us, so let's not plan on an agenda, but let's start and see. If nobody wants to watch it, then why pay to record it? But I'm for recording it if people want to see what's going on. But that's my thought. You guys share your ideas.
Sounds good to me.
The initial session would then just be kind of cover, there wouldn't be any, we wouldn't be confined to a specific topic. It would just be kind of a general open communication about whatever was on your mind,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
mind, my mind, and we could address the city manager with
Right.
that and then kind of take it from there.
Right.
Okay? That sounds reasonable to me.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So let's approach it at that, to where we won't actually tape the initial February 20th meeting. But of course, you know, it'll be publicized and it'll be an open meeting for the public to attend. And I think that's a great idea. So at this point, then I need to entertain a motion. Is that what we want to do at this time? To set this in stone?
Okay.
I'll move that
Agree?
sure, if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Go
I'll
ahead.
move that we begin scheduling work sessions on the third Wednesday of each month, beginning in February at 9 o'clock a.m. in this room.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we have any other public concerns? I don't see any. Okay. We've reached a point where if there's no other concerns, no public concerns, we're ready for an adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you for attending. Appreciate you being here.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
Great.